Hey everybody, it's Morgan. We had our Tech Tidbits live on Monday, and I made the rookie mistake of not pressing record for my Zoom meeting. So there's that. This is just a re-record after the actual Tech Tidbits live meeting. I taught the people who came to the meeting how to use Google Keep and the basics. And then we had kind of a brainstorm session on how we could use Google Keep in the classroom. So basically the gist of Google Keep is that it's like a virtual sticky note that you can carry with you wherever you go. So you can find your Google Keep notes on your web browser. So if you just use Google Chrome or Firefox, you can find it there. And there is an app for that. So if you have an iOS device, you can find Google Keep in the App Store. If you have an Android device, you can find it on Google Play. And it's a free app that you can use. And then the notes that you take sync between your devices when you're logged into Google. So if you make a change on your computer, then it'll also change on your phone app. And it's just super awesome. I'll show you all the ways you can use it today. So I told the people at the meeting that I will attach these Google Slides to Google Classroom. So that's probably where you found this video. And each slide has just kind of a short little video clip of how you do everything on each of the slides. So you can check that out, or you can keep watching this video. It's kind of your choice in how you like to learn best. So I told you there was Google Keep on your web browser, so you go to keep.google.com. There's also a Google Chrome extension that's linked on here, and I will help you get there today. And like I said, you can also find your app in the App Store or on Google Play. So with that, we are going to make a Google Keep note together. You can start by just opening a new tab and going to keep.google.com. And this brings me to all of my Google Keep notes that I have on my school account. So to make a new note, you'll click in this little take a note box, and it pops up and you have your title. So this is the title of my note. And then you can also take your notes here. Something else kind of handy is if you push the three dots with more on your screen, you can click let's see, show checkboxes, so you can make your note into a list. And so that comes up with checkboxes for you. And then when you push done, here's my note. So with these checkboxes, I can mark when they're done, and it crosses it off and moves them to the bottom of the list for me so that I can keep going with my list. And you can choose to keep those or clear them off. So you could say delete checked items, and it would get rid of that item for me. So that's kind of cool too. My husband and I use a Google Keep note for our groceries list, and I have that on my personal account, but let's say I need milk, flour, sugar. Okay, so those are the things that we need on the list. So that's one way that you can apply that to your life. Or I'm thinking it's the end of the quarter, so maybe you're going to make a list of to-dos for the end of the quarter as well. You could do that. Something that's kind of cool about another feature of the Google Keep note is that you can add images to your notes. So I could say that I want my husband to pick up my favorite ice cream, and this little add image button with the mountains, if I click that, it's going to take a second to load here. If I click that on my screen, I can add a picture of my favorite ice cream, and it's going to show up on my note. If you're using something like an iPad or an iPhone or something with a touchscreen device, it's also neat that you can add a drawing. So for my artists out there, I have different tools that I can use, like pens and highlighters up here, and then I can just kind of add that to my note too. So you push done, and then you'll see those images right there. So we were talking about maybe if you found a graphic organizer that you wanted to kind of keep with a note, or an image that you found that would be really cool to share in class, that might be a reason that you add an image to a note. I found that you can change the color of your notes. So just like our sticky notes in real life, how they come in different colors, you can do that virtually too. So maybe all of my home notes are going to be in blue, all my work notes will be in red, and then I can categorize them that way. If you're just a visual person and that's how you see things. Or you can also add labels. So I went to my More button, add a label. I might call this, well, this was affiliated with home. This one's affiliated with school. This one is school. So then those are handy, because if you look at the top of your screen by Google Keep in the yellow toolbar at the top, you can, once you click that button, you can see the different types of drawings you have, so or types of notes. So I could click this button and all my lists would come up. I could find a certain label, so I might want all of my home ones to come up. It's just a handy little tool that you could also use. Let's see. So this is something I learned yesterday, 2 days ago, when I was researching a little bit more. And there's a remind me button. So you can do two different things here. You can pick a date and time. So if you had this list that you needed to get done and you knew that you were going to be at school at whatever your prep time is, you could set it for that, and it's going to remind you, hey, this is what you have to get done today. Or something super neat is you can pick a place. And I actually tried this out this morning. I typed in the St. Lawrence Church because I couldn't find the school at the time. I was kind of in a hurry. But every time I go like down to the office area or whatever, when I was driving in, my phone had an alert pop up because I was at the St. Lawrence Church. So every time I go to this location, it's going to notify me that I have a list that's affiliated with it, which is kind of neat. Something that my husband and I could do for this one, for groceries, we probably wouldn't pick St. Lawrence Church, but maybe instead we would do Hy-Vee and Carol. So every time we go, our grocery list is going to pop up on our phones, and it'll just be right there for us. So that was a neat feature that I just learned about. Let's see. You can also collaborate on notes. So you just push the little person that is on all of your Google Docs. It's the share button. So I could pick somebody to share with. Me and my husband definitely do this with our grocery list. We have it shared, and we could both make changes on our list. So for example, true story, I sent my husband out to get some stuff to make Christmas candy and cookies, and I totally forgot to tell him that we needed wax paper for our almond bark pretzels. So while he was at the store, I quick added wax paper at the bottom of the list, and sure enough, he came with it in his Hy-Vee bag. So that was pretty sweet. It's kind of handy. A lot of times in class, we use Google Docs. And Google Keep is newly integrated into Google Docs. So if I have the doc up that I'm using, I can go to Tools, and then my computer's loading here. Tools, Keep Notepad, and then my Keep Notepad's gonna pop up right on my screen here. And I can click and drag a note into my document. So we were thinking that if students were maybe taking notes on something separately or in a research project or whatever, this would be a way that they could each pull in their notes and ideas into a single document that they're collaborating on. And then with that, there's also a Google Drive extension and this is just for if you use Google Chrome for your web browser, this is for that. So you could search Google Keep extension, And then the top one, Google Keep Chrome extension. If I click that button up here, I already have it added onto my device. So it's a green button that says added to Chrome. But if you didn't, it would say add to Chrome, and I think it's a blue button. So if you click that, then your Google Keep extension comes right up here in the top of your screen by your toolbar. So what that does is if I find a cool website that I want to keep for later while I'm searching on the web, I can keep those straight because all you have to do is click the button. It'll make a new note for you. So I could say site for class, check this out. Down here it tells me it's saving, and it's saved. So if I go back to my Google Keep website, oh, I have it on the wrong account. Okay, so I did this incorrectly, but if I was signed into my personal account, that website would just pop up as a new note right here. So it's really cool. It's going to help me stay organized, I think, because a lot of websites I can lose really easily. So some things that we talked about in the meeting was to have students collaborate on Google Notes. We talked about how this would be really handy for researching or long-term projects, like if you had a certain step-by-step procedure that the students need to get done or to follow, or certain requirements, they could make a checklist and then check them off as they go. Let's see, I've heard of people using these for reading logs. We talked about maybe with vocabulary words, instead of making the, I don't remember, I'm not too familiar with CRIS, but they said it was a CRIS strategy with the 4 boxes or 4 words, I don't remember. But we talked about how you could write the word, write the definition of the word, write it used in a sentence, and then maybe pull in a picture of what reminds you of that word. So they just thought of so many great ideas. If I miss any of those ideas, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but if I missed any, please add those to the comments in Google Classroom, or if you think of something new, that would be wonderful. If you could add some notes here so we can all collaborate and learn from each other. If you want to use Google Classroom with your students, or if you want to use it yourself personally and you have more questions, please come find me. I would love to help you learn more about it. And I will see y'all around the building. And our next Tech Tidbits Live meeting, we're going to skip next week because it's the end of the quarter. So that puts our next meeting, our live meeting, on January 22nd. It's a Monday. So I will see you then. Thanks.